Thank you for listening and welcome to the Life Podcast, a proud member of the Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network. I'm your host, Don Smith. Scotty Mays stays on as guest co-host, and Jack Wright joins in for a little game I like to call Three Sweaty Men in a Basement. If you enjoy the show, like and follow the Life 1069 on Facebook and Don Smith Comedy on Twitter, or tune in live on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM, or you can stream the show live at wwsu1069.org.
The brutal presence overwhelms me. The brutal presence overwhelms me.
All right, we're back on the Life Radio Show. It's just moving real slow. It threw me off. This is your host, Don Smith, sitting in with my guest co-host, Scotty Mays. And we are now joined by Jack Wright.
Hi, everybody.
Out of Cincinnati, you said, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Loving you is wrong. I don't want to be right.
Well, welcome to Three Sweaty Guys in the Basement.
Well, thank you, sir. I'm glad to be a part of it. Very glad to be a part of it. I hope I can contribute to the sweat factor.
Oh, absolutely.
I am right now.
I foresee you soaking right through that shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Scotty's. I meant your Scotty's shirt. You're going.
Oh, we are pretty close on it.
Yeah. That's why I can see it.
That's why when in doubt, always wear black. Never let them see you sweat.
Yeah.
Never let them see other people's sweat on you.
Right. That's even more important.
I prefer to let people sweat because then they stop talking to me. I can go on with my day. So.
Yeah, that's true. Once you're nice and sweaty,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'll go outside and run around in circles for a little bit and come back in, and then nobody talks to me because I'm all sweaty and I stink, which is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. This episode, since I don't have a I don't have a filter on this microphone. This episode's brought to us by the letter P.
Perfect.
So, yeah, perfect. So, Parvo. See?
We're just getting all kinds of topical tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So, thanks for coming in, Jack. We've met a time or two. How long have you been performing stand-up comedy?
Close to 4 years. I started when I was 17.
Oh, okay.
So I'll be 21 in February.
Doing the math. Okay.
So,
February
good,
what?
Yeah.
The 9th.
The 9th. I'm the 5th.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, I will not be that young.
No.
That's okay. We still love you.
Thanks, man.
That's all right. You don't have to be as young as me, Scotty. I'm still in college.
Yeah, we're all in college, technically.
That's true. That's
we
true.
Are.
We are. And we got bumped for a soccer game match.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That game match.
It's
We're
just
Americans.
so weird to be at college and you walk past students, and I'm like, I'm seriously old enough to be their dad.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have a 24-year-old son at home. Well, not at my house, but you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like it's time to move on, son.
Man, I think it's time. It's time you cut the cord.
Because my mind says I'm 18, and then I sneeze and get a Charlie horse in my taint, and I'm like, nope, I'm 42.
Yeah, that's a clear sign that.
I think it's hysterical that you're younger than both of my parents.
Well,
it makes me happy. It's made me happy for years.
I think it's hysterical that they support. Okay, this is going to sound weird, but this is not how this is supposed to sound. That they support your comedy, but the people that you bring with the types of comedians, because it's diverse, right?
Absolutely.
And they have a very open mind when it comes to a sense of humor, and I think that says a lot about.
I'm glad that's what you perceive.
Well, I understand that my perception is not necessarily your reality.
Yeah, but it's fine.
But
I'm okay with that.
They support you nonetheless, and I think that's cool.
Yeah.
That they turn out. They don't turn up, but they turn out.
I'll agree with that.
That's always good.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
They put up with it. So
at least mom doesn't turn down for what.
Yeah. It's like I got on Brouhaha earlier this year though, and I texted my dad. I was like, "I'm on Brouhaha. It's my first festival," and he responded, "Cool."
I don't even get that from my dad.
Yeah.
My dad hasn't even told me how proud of me.
Yeah. My dad would have said, "What?"
Yeah.
Because he's hard of hearing.
Yeah.
No, my mother goes to most of my shows. I've had one of my brothers at one or two of my shows, and that's about it.
My parents haven't seen me on stage in about 2.5 years. Last time I was at Wiley's, my aunt and uncle and cousin all came. So that was cool.
Wait, so that wasn't them that showed up the night that we were the pizza joint, where you started doing the
Pizza
joint. No.
I'm hungry, Scotty. What pizza joint?
It was very good.
Yeah, I've been running a showcase at By Golly's in Milford for 6 months. Mm-hmm. 6 months now. I had Scotty on one several months ago. No, my parents weren't there. Blake's parents were.
Blake's parents
were. But no, not mine.
Okay.
So what made you decide to start performing comedy?
Oh Lord, it was more.
It's okay.
It was kind of a whim, I guess. Like, cause when I was about 14, 15 years old, I started keeping my phone with me when I went to bed instead of leaving it downstairs like my parents told me to. And I just went on YouTube and went crazy, and ended up going through a bunch of like stand-up and old Saturday Night Live stuff that I wasn't allowed to see. When I was like 14 years old, I got into Richard Pryor and Louis C.K. and George Carlin and Red Fox and everybody. And I mean, I've loved comedy for a long, long time. And once I expanded my horizons beyond Brian Regan and Full House and Bill Cosby, it kind of opened up.
Full House a horizon? Is it?
I don't know. I hope.
I mean,
not.
I wouldn't.
Maybe for some people,
I wouldn't say Full House as a horizon would need to be expanded, blown up, maybe.
Perhaps. Yeah, I will agree with you on that. It's just that's what I grew up with, and that's what I laughed at when I was a kid.
The original Full House or this?
Oh no, the original with
trying to
no. The original one. I watched it syndication. It was on after school, so I watched it all the time.
Oh, okay.
So, and then when I was 15, my dad actually he played piano at a little bar in Urbana.
Play bar,
of course, yes.
Piano.
Yes. I'm mixing up more words. Anyway,
that's okay.
So he frequently played music at this little bar.
That's okay. This is live. Wait, never mind.
So
you're nervous because this would have been live radio.
Yeah.
Had there not been a men's soccer game.
It's true. Stupid soccer. Anyway. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, they're not.
Young boys.
Yeah. They're frolicking, kicking a ball.
Frolicking on the pitch.
Whee! Yeah, of course. Anyway, when I was 15, my dad played music at this little bar in Urbana, Ohio for several years, and I had the notion I wanted to try stand-up. And he was like, well, I'm going there again in a couple of weeks. If you prepare something, I'll let you go on stage for a minute. And I wrote some stuff down, did 90 seconds. It was awful. It was absolutely horrible. I still have the tape. I'll send it to both of you.
I'd love to see that.
It is really, really horrible.
Now, was it the material or was it the fact that it was a music venue?
It's not really even a music venue. It's a little Italian restaurant on the square that happens to have a piano.
Oh, okay.
So, and then it's a bunch of locals that everybody was there. They knew my dad was playing and they'd go see him. But it was really awful. The material was bad. I was just 15 and thought I was awesome, but and then I didn't do it again. And we moved to Cincinnati, and when I was 17, saw there was an open mic at By Golly's run by Cal Jansen, and I was like, you know what, I'll go back at it again.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing with comedy. You always got to try it again.
Yeah, and I haven't looked back.
Yeah.
I haven't looked back since. Last night I got on stage. I sucked. I did really, really badly. Because, I brought up all new stuff, but it's part of it,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm okay with it.
That's the nature of the beast.
I've had some amazing sets with all new stuff. And then I've had some terrible things.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad you came out. I was like, wow,
I've
floating my
thanks, man.
I've had some terrible sets with new stuff, and I have had... remember one of the times I did a full brand new 5 minutes. It was back when Dayton Funny Bone still cared about local comics.
Mm-hmm. Of course,
they still had the open mics.
Yeah.
But I went up there and I was scared to death because I was still within my first 5 or 6 months. Mm-hmm. And of course everybody's saying, don't do all brand new stuff. Don't just work on your solid five. All these old comics just cram that down your throat, and that's why I try never to do that to other comics starting out, because I don't buy it anyway. I like new stuff. I like to perform new stuff. I like the excitement of whether or not it's going to work. I don't like the excitement of when it doesn't.
Yeah.
But I like
Right.
the excitement
Right.
of, wow, that worked.
Yeah.
And that's the high for me.
Yeah, I had that
So-
moment at Wiley's a couple of weeks ago when I was up there. It's like I just put in something new, just like give it a shot.
Yeah.
Trying the old stuff that I knew was solid, and it worked out, and it was fine, and I was very happy with it. And now I've kept it, so
Yeah,
It's-
and that
keep it in my back pocket.
But I was doing all brand new stuff that night, and there was another comic there that said he was going to do all brand new stuff too, and he chickened out. And he went up to like 3 or 4 comics before me, and he chickened out. And I'm sitting there getting ready to go on stage, and I'm like in a full cold sweat. I'm thinking if it was Megan was running at the time, I said if Megan walks by right now, I'm just going to tell her I can't do this. I mean, I was to the point of backing out, and I went up there and still one of my best sets. I don't know what happened, but it was just that was one of the few experiences trying all brand new stuff that really worked out. I've had others. I've had others, not so much. But I tried a bunch of new stuff over the weekend when I was hosting for Joe Bates, and it was
he's funny.
old stuff, but I revamped a lot of it, and I added a bunch of new tags and whatnot. That it was kind of fun because I started out Friday night, and I don't think I quite had the cadence down of how I was doing them. For one, I was a little rusty. For another, it was some newer tags on older stuff, and I was trying to match them. But by the end of Saturday night, found it. And it worked.
There you go.
And that leaves you hungry too, doesn't it?
And it does. And it
You're
does.
like, man, I want to do this. I could have, because those are the nights where you're like, man, I could have stayed up here forever.
No, I was done.
He's like,
I have a certain point. It's like, okay, this is fun. I'm done.
Yeah. I love going back into old material and finding new things you can put with it or things you can take from it to add to what you already have. And
I love that dissection and being able
Yeah.
to open that gap and then just like fill it in with more material. Like, and then like that 1 10-second joke has now become
Right.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, or it's at least become a segue into another because
absolutely.
you mesh them all together till you have one long coherent thing that
yeah.
you try to sell as comedy.
The thing that people know me for in Cincinnati, that kind of people, if they hear homeschool material, it's me. Then that's one thing I started with. That's one thing I've kind of kept in my act.
So you were homeschooled?
Yeah, I was homeschooled through high school,
Okay.
and
So that's
yeah.
why. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why
because every comic has something going on in their head.
Yeah.
that,
It's homeschooled
Scotty's
through
in
high school.
recovery. I'm not.
he's thinking about a beer.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about a beer.
Yeah, but it's two different thoughts. Yours is no, I can't. Mine's like, man, I got some at home.
Yeah.
I could be home
There you
right
go.
now having that.
I go back through like some of the older homeschool stuff that I started with, and find things that I wrote 3 years ago that I can kind of fold into what I have now. The solid, I probably have 15-ish minutes of homeschool material, with maybe 7 of it good. So, and then going back in and
That's not bad. That's
and if
not
I can
bad.
make that other 8 good with just remembering what I had and going back through everything and get 10 minutes out of it, that's something.
Do you say it's not good because you've gauged that off of the audience reaction, or is it just you being your own worst critic?
A little bit of both. Some of it is just like there's stuff that I did 2 years ago that worked out fine, and if I look at the tapes now, and it's like it hit the audience just fine. But I also like there were times where I'd try that material and it didn't land quite the way I wanted it to. But also it's just me hating what I did 2 years ago and trying to make it better. So it's a challenge.
I think if you don't hate the stuff you used to do, you're not growing much as a comic.
That's fair.
Because there's a lot of the stuff I used to do that I don't. I mean, I still do it because I'm lazy.
Oh yeah.
But
It's like
I wish I had more time to get up, and I think that's one of my biggest things is I just don't get up as often as I should.
Yeah. When I find myself hating a bit that I'm doing, that sure it could be killing, it could be doing really well, but if I'm not in it anymore, I just pitch it. and then maybe go back to it a couple years later and look at it and see, well, what can I change it? Can I resurrect it? Can I fix it and make it more how I am now? So it's a challenge. It's part of the fun.
Yeah.
To go back,
it's a puzzle.
It's fun. Yeah, and it's very, very challenging, and it's ultimately very rewarding if you put the work into it.
Although one of my old bits about the dating the clown, if you remember that one, I did that one Saturday night, and there were a couple of parents in there that for some reason they let like their 12 and 13-year-old kids in with it.
Yeah.
Best reaction I ever had to that joke, because it's the part where I saying she was a squirter. Which, of course, I'm talking about a bottle of seltzer water, which I go and clarify. But as soon as I said that, those parents are just... I think the dad almost dropped his beer.
I love
and that's
that
when I looked
bit.
at, well, it was just seltzer water, and I got the bottle away from him. What were you thinking, sicko? But that was one of the best reactions I've had to that.
That's awesome. I love it.
That's fantastic.
I thought you were going to tell me that the kids lost it, and I'm like, great.
No.
So you have juvenile material,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I do, but that's...
I think we all do. We're all a little
I think that one's kind of a juvenile joke, too.
Oh, it
but,
is, but it's fine.
But there's a lot of
It's
them
fun.
that are, and sometimes they can be a lot of fun to mess with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it wasn't like a poop joke or something, because those are...
That's low hanging fruit.
Yeah. Or a low-hanging fruit joke. I don't have any. I'm getting older, so I mean it's there, but I don't joke about it
You
because
didn't
that's a
seem to pop your
serious
pee on the
matter.
poop.
Poop.
There you
See,
go.
I got it. This episode is brought to you by the letter poop.
Pee.
Oh wait, this is a different episode now, isn't it?
It is. It is. But we're still we
haven't
can
even
still
came
pee
up
all
with
over
a
the
tag
microphones.
For much.
That's true.
Basement hot pockets.
Well, 3 sweaty men in a basement. That's a
That's
good one.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
that's.
That's
Let me
better
write
than
that
two
down.
guys
Let me
growing a
write
pizza
that down.
place.
See, the first one is just going to be the letter P.
Yeah.
Or soccer. Because I guess this episode can be 3 sweaty men in a basement.
That's good. Yeah.
It's a good title.
Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, we're done here. No, there's nowhere we can go from this point. I can't even think of what I'm writing. Okay, I'll get there eventually. This is good radio, by the way.
This
is fun.
This is the best show ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, hey, it could be worse. We could be recording another soccer broadcast.
Well, when this gets re-aired,
this
is going to sound way better than what you had to endure for those 2 hours and 15 minutes that I was told is the length of a soccer match on the radio.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy.
Because this is going to go out right after the soccer match.
Yeah.
Match.
See, we were discussing why it's a match.
Well, it's a
because
soccer
it's
match.
so
It's a
much
hockey
easier.
match.
It's so much easier
Is
to
it a
light
hockey
it on
match?
It
fire.
was a hockey match.
That's new information to me.
Yeah.
Chess match.
Yeah.
Well,
Tennis
although
match.
some people are like, you want to play a game of chess? Nobody's ever asked me, you want to play a match of chess?
Would you like to play a match of chess?
Would you like to
Scotty?
play a match of chess?
Yeah. Do you play chess?
I do.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not so much when I was on meth.
This is hard.
But, things have slowed down considerably these days.
Well, you were just trying to find out how to make a bowl out of a
How
rook.
does speed chess...
I can do this. Hold on.
Give me a
If
second.
you don't want to use the plastic pieces, they'll
No,
just melt.
it
Yeah, it
just
just
melts.
melts. Yeah, it just melts.
Get one of the ceramic or glass chess
I showed up to
sets.
my
There you
first
go.
speed chess match, and I was kicked out immediately. Like, sir,
Yeah.
you cannot smoke that here.
Yeah.
Why is it in a light bulb?
Speed
'Cause I
chess.
had
I
an
didn't know.
idea.
I didn't even know you could play chess on speed. That's a whole
They have a speed chess, but they're smacking that little clock on the side. They're doing it real quick. But me, I was like smacking a vein.
I'll never get through this game.
Yeah.
There was a news story we covered last week where they did underwater chess
Weird.
to hurry the game along. They would dive down, make their move,
They
and go
didn't
back
have
up.
breathing
Yeah.
apparatuses. They were just holding their breath.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Then
That's
they weren't
bananas.
using the plastic pieces on that too. They just floated
At the top.
This game's tough.
Pewter Ponds.
Pewter Pond.
Pewter.
That's
Yeah.
you just named the Pewter Ponds. That's perfect because it's
That's
P
fantastic.
goes along
It
with
would-
the whole show. Pewter
There we
Ponds.
go. Pewter Ponds.
My life is full of accidents.
Yeah.
I have 4 kids.
Yeah. Well, you got
they
the,
never listen to
yeah,
this. so
you
they're
got the
not gonna be
dogs on
offended.
purpose. That's all right. Well, they don't listen to the show.
Yes, they do.
I was
Absolutely.
going to say they better.
Yeah.
They better.
Their
I would
allowance
be
depends
very,
on it.
very be very
You're like, your son's
disappointed.
24 and still gets allowance.
Yeah. Andy doesn't listen to my show.
He's a professional
Man.
gamer, okay? He has goals.
Wow.
That's great.
Get an allowance.
Yeah, you can't buy Hot Pockets for nothing.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I'm sure you still
Well, you
provide the
probably
Hot
could.
Pockets too. Yeah. Yeah, that's a 5-finger Hot Pocket.
Yeah.
It's a pickpocket Hot
It's a
Pocket.
pickpocket hot pocket.
You got more than pickpockets?
My belly button is sweating now. I can feel the heat around the navel area, which is weird.
You guys are going to stick together if you get too close.
Make a little suction noise.
That's fine.
Yep. Okay, we'll separate you at the end of the show.
There we go.
Anyway.
It's all kinds of weird. Huh?
Oh, that's
yeah.
fine.
Oh, yeah.
Weird's
Yeah,
good.
that's right. It's your first time on the show.
It is my first time on this show.
Dude,
Probably
really?
last time on the show.
It's not
Oh,
always
no.
like this.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
This is
that's
fine.
yeah. Bring a first timer onto this dump.
That's fine. I've recorded my fair share of basement podcasts. It's fine.
Yep. Usually, like I said, we have a nice studio.
Yeah.
And
All you need is
we
a
go
red
live
swing
on the
line
air.
stapler here,
Yeah.
and you'd be set.
Yep,
Yeah.
Don't take
My
my
stapler.
It's my stapler. All right, I think we're going to take a little break.
Okay.
All right.
And probably open that door, get some cool air flowing in here.
Cool.
So
We're going to move your
so
desk
you guys
too
don't
again.
stick. Yeah, move my desk so you can put those boxes in here.
Yeah. We're going to need
Yeah.
you to move your desk all the way back.
Okay, but I'll just set the building on fire. All right, we'll be back here shortly on the Life Radio Show. Don't set the building on fire. It's hot enough in this basement. Hot Pocket.
Should have popped the pee.
This is the longest day of my life. Minutes feel like hours, like days, like years. My thoughts weigh down my
crime, it's a crime. Can't you see it's not for me? I am not ordinary. Been like this since a teen. It's not for me, not for me. Quit my job and left my girl to just go and tour the world. Wanna taste every single thing, every bit of life that brings. It's a crime, you see, to be ordinary. It's a crime, you see, to be ordinary. I just want to be something real you can feel. And I just want to be something real you can feel with me. I'm restless at 3 a.m. Regrets from the past closing in. Thought I put them to the grave, but I guess it's too late. Leave them all in the past. When I have 1,000 fans, maybe they will love me. 'Cause I don't feel anything. I just wanna be there on the stage, staring God right in the face. The lights will dim and I will sing as the curtains open. It's a crime, you see, to be ordinary. It's a crime, you see, to be ordinary. It's a crime, you see, to be ordinary. It's a crime, you see, to be ordinary.
Move over, Jimmy Kimmel. Step aside, Conan O'Brien. Back off, Stephen Colbert. It's my turn. I'm Mike Shea, and every Tuesday on my show, Mike Talks Funny, I sit down and talk with comedians, actors, film fans, podcasters, anybody willing to get down, get deep, and get dirty.
I don't remember the first time I had sex. That was horrible. I didn't even finish the first time I had sex.
I've tasted what most comics want, and now I have to go back and eat the leftovers.
You're so brave for wearing that shade of lipstick on stage. Oh my God.
Think of Last Comic Standing, and Mystery Science Theater 3000 had a baby, and that's the show.
My online doppelganger is also a larger black man. He is Adrian Miller. All the top results are he's a professor.
Interviews with great people, not to mention all kinds of awesome new music every show.
Hey, this is Don Smith.
This is Scotty Mays.
Hey, this is Kevin Goatee with Comics Watching Comics.
Brought to you by Eventide Entertainment.
They say, see a broad to get that booty yak 'em, leg her down and smack 'em, yak 'em. Cole got to be. Yo, shit.
All right, we're back on the Life Radio Show. I'm your host, Don Smith, sitting in with my guest co-host, Scotty Mays.
Hey, hey.
Once again.
Once
back
again.
back to 3 sweaty men in a basement.
Yep.
And we're still sitting in here with Jack Wright out of Cincinnati. Yeah.
Yep.
It keeps getting moister.
Yes. Moister.
Moister.
I'm an English major. Don't ever say that again.
So am I. That's why I said it.
Most comics are. It freaks me out a little bit.
Well, yeah, because there aren't any real jobs for English majors.
I'm from Germantown, Ohio. There are no English majors from Germantown.
There ain't no. You're from Germantown. There ain't no.
No, there ain't no English majors.
Actually, Germantown.
I'm pretty salty about that.
So anyway, we should probably get to some news stories.
Yes.
And we're just going to kill out the rest of this hour with some news stories, because if you see what I did there, I just choked out like 10 minutes of music for this last, so we can push on through the other side. Sorry. Anyway, here's one we put a cork in, because we were starting to talk about this next news story right before Nate Washington showed up. Animal rescuers in Ireland said they're setting traps after reports of mountain lion sightings in the countryside were deemed to be credible. The Cork Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals said cougar sightings have been reported. They said cougar sightings have been reported during the last 2 weeks in Fountainstown, Crosshaven, and Toger, which are all located in County Cork. County Cork, because it's not Cork County, it's County Cork. Here's one of the guys said, I forget who he was, one of the guys from the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals people said, we've had no confirmation yet. This is a puma, but the people we have been dealing with are very credible. It is a very large cat, and reports we've received have been too credible to ignore.
See, I think ultimately how this is going to end up, they're going to check the trap, and they're going to be like, yes, it was a cougar sighting. It was somebody's 200-pound mother.
200 pound. Yeah. That's a large cougar.
That is a large cougar.
It's hard for cougars like that to have game at all.
Well,
yes.
That's fair.
You can't pounce at 200 pounds.
You really can't.
Yeah.
They should honestly just calm down.
Pounce.
They should just calm down. Like, if I learned anything from Talladega Nights, is that if you're calm, that cougar will be calm too.
That's
and you
true.
don't got to worry about it. Just calm down, Ireland.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Be nice.
Yeah. Ireland should calm. How can Ireland get much? Well, there used to be a lot of fighting going on over there. The troubles,
with the IRA and everything,
and the
now it's just them fighting with the IRS.
Well, I'd go with a Roth IRA personally, because the taxes are already paid.
Of course.
So yeah, you don't a standard IRA. They'll blow up your they'll blow up your church.
Nail bombs in your car, man. I watched that episode of Deadliest Warrior. I know everything about the IRA.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
That's a great show.
Man, that's serious.
That's a great show. That's perfect fodder for Netflix to bring back. Netflix should bring that show back.
Yeah, I have not watched that show, so
It's fantastic.
That's why I felt so left out of the conversation.
It's terrific. Well, Scotty and I will enlighten you.
Okay. Not right now, though.
So in season 1 of Deadliest Warrior.
And take it. No. A Mississippi homecoming queen earned her school's admiration.
Wait, she was
Mississippi Queen! Mississippi Queen!
Mississippi homecoming queen earned her school's admiration shortly after her crowning by kicking a winning field goal in overtime. Yeah, Kaylee Foster, a senior who was named Ocean Springs High School's homecoming queen during a ceremony at halftime of the game against the George County Rebels, swapped her crown for a football helmet and went back to work as the team's kicker. Foster ended up scoring the game-winning extra point during overtime. Not bad for a queen.
No. Sounds like the prequel to Flashdance.
Yeah.
Like, for real.
Yep. Nope. Yeah.
Wait, you think she was wearing heels, stilettos when she kicked the field goal?
I don't know. I saw the video on Facebook like everybody else.
Hilarious. Heels with cleats.
Yeah. Cleated Heels. It's a good name for a band.
The Cleated
Heels.
Yeah. That's like the offspring from Pussy Riot.
Yes.
Cleated Heels.
Cleated Heels.
I got to write that down. Sometimes you just got to write things down.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cleated heels. You can talk while I'm writing because I can't.
I'm actually
apparently.
brainstorming more.
So in season 1 of Deadliest Warrior, they begin with the ninja versus the samurai.
Okay, who won?
And I believe it was the samurai. Basically what happens is they take 2 experts in the given field of these warriors, and they bring the weapons and the knowledge and the know-how, and then the medical specialist and the computer geek and the weapons nerd guy that just tagged along for the ride. They all take the weapons and they show damage on ballistics gel and all kinds of physics tests and everything. Put all the statistics in a computer simulation and then show the fight, like the war between them. Whether or not it would work out.
It's pretty sweet.
That's kind of interesting.
It's a neat show, for sure. Only
it's
ran
be
for
the quickest callback, though. I think.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
For radio.
I have never, ever used a callback on stage, so I'm glad I got to do one.
Well,
here.
there you go. See, we're learning all the time.
Yeah, I've just never been good at it, so now here we are. So.
I always like doing callbacks to other people's stuff.
Yeah,
I've done that. I've done that.
I've actually written in callback stuff for if I follow Andrew Rudick. Because I can do his material just
fine. I've done that and was told not to ever do that.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm like...
Why? Why would...
it was when I was doing the World Series of Comedy tryout.
Yeah.
And that...
that
douche told me not to... And I'm going to call him that because I have no interest in ever working for him.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, it's just... Because, the criticism he gave me and then the criticism he gave some other comics, I'm like,
I've heard some of it was kind of, Oh, well.
Anyway.
Moving on. Speaking of cleated heels. 13 years ago, a pair of ruby slippers from the 1939 movie The Wizard of Oz were stolen from a Minnesota museum. Now the FBI says the search is over. Why? Oh. Your anticipation got to build it.
There's no place like home.
Yeah.
It was a classic smash and grab. In August 2005, some unknown thief or thieves broke in through the back door of the Judy. Sorry about that. Through the back door of the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and swiped the slippers. Reportedly leaving nothing but broken glass and a single red sequin in their wake. That's their calling card.
Wow.
That and slipping in through the back door.
Just one sequin.
Yep. Every time somebody slips in through the back door, I guess they got nothing but a sequin left.
They better have found those slippers in Kansas.
I'm hoping. Well, they weren't in Kansas anymore. They were in Minnesota.
Exactly. So
one long-running theory held that local kids had stolen the slippers, then got scared and threw them into a nearby abandoned mine pit. Don't know why that was a theory. A dive team searched the Tioga mine pit in 2015, but came up empty. The missing slippers are 2 different sizes and may be the mates of a mismatched pair at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History. In 2006, the Smithsonian launched a Kickstarter campaign, because they don't have any money, to fund preservation work on the pair there. The museum notes that 5 pairs of ruby slippers made for the movie are known to have survived.
Okay.
5
How many did they make for the movie?
I don't know. 5 of them survived. Survived the movie, apparently, because the tornadoes can tear some crap up.
Yeah.
That's
It's like maybe she just had a box, like a closet full of boxes of ruby slippers.
Yeah. Well, maybe it's all the smacking the heels together. They had to do so
probably.
many takes. You kept breaking the heels off of them. Yeah.
So they weren't cleated, that's why.
Right. They were not cleated heels.
Callback number 2. Here we go.
When they get stuck in the bricks.
You can do this.
Don't tell me that. I'm going to try it on stage and ruin it.
They all get stuck in the yellow brick road and bust the heel off
Yeah.
of them. Yeah, that's.
And come to find out, the yellow bricks were the cocaine
Yeah.
smugglers that were coming
Exactly.
down 75.
Yeah, wow.
So that's a long call.
That is. That's a callback to a different episode.
That's
Whoa.
right.
Yeah, the P episode, or the episode
P
brought
episode.
to us by the letter P.
Because we're all down with OPP.
Word. In the Grand Pantheon of good job. In the Grand Pantheon of cafeteria misdeeds, few are more dastardly than the crime of stealing lunch money. And popular culture offers up no end to the usual suspects, from vindictive older siblings to the schoolyard bully. But in New Canaan, Connecticut, the whodunit has taken a new twist. Police say 2 unusual culprits. It's taken them a long time to get to the meat of this story. Police say 2 unusual culprits are to blame for after 2 public schools mysteriously lost nearly $500,000 of lunch money in a 5-year spam.
That's lunch
for lunch.
Yeah.
In a 5-year span. The cafeteria workers behind the register were doing it.
What?
$500,000
in cafeteria
in 5
money.
years. Sisters Joanne Pascarelli, 61 years old, and Marie Wilson, 67, surrendered to law enforcement last week after warrants were issued for their arrest. Each woman has been charged with 1 count of first-degree larceny for allegedly carrying out a scheme from 2012 to 2017, robbing the cafeterias at Sachs Middle School and New Canaan High School of about $478,588 in cash. If convicted, each woman could face up to 20 years in prison. Probably not going to be that long. They're in their 60s.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's kind of insane. When I was
that's a lot of money.
Yeah. When I was in school, we had a member of the PTA embezzling $100,000 out. Mm-hmm. And she got caught and everything. And then they moved to Florida, and she evaded arrest here in Ohio.
Awesome.
So I don't know anything further than that, but that's only $100,000. That's a lot of money. Which tells me they committed more.
Wait, you were homeschooled, so your mom was stealing all that money.
I was only homeschooled through high school. I went to Catholic school up until 8th grade, and I'm technically an 8th grade dropout. Kind of.
So why did you leave Catholic school in the 8th grade?
When
old for the priests.
Hey,
reach that certain age.
I'm not going to dignify that with an answer.
Nobody pays any attention to me.
But the school is
get your balls dropped. We don't care.
I apologize for that. That was totally uncalled for. No, I don't either.
I apologize to you, Jack. Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't remember what I was talking about. Now I'm just pissed at you.
I couldn't help it. You're a comic.
I'm Catholic, by the way. This is for real. They're poking at me, guys.
Not literally.
No.
That happened.
We're on the radio. They don't know that.
Yep.
Apologies, Jack.
Love you guys. Anyway.
First time on the show, he's stuffed in a little closet with 2 other sweaty men, and then his whole religion is made fun of.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
We attacked Christians earlier.
I'll say this. It's not, the church in herself is infallible, completely and totally. Like, all the incidents of priests molesting kids and everything, they're men, and they messed up, and these so-called men of God did bad things. And it's not the church's fault. It's the men in the church who messed up, so...
I'll let you
it's their
fault. That. That's good. That's good.
It's
okay.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's their fault. They're bad people.
They are bad people.
Anyway, I don't remember what we were talking about.
All right, let's move on.
Your mom embezzling all the money.
That's right. Yep, that's much more interesting than the news story. Your mom the embezzler.
So no, my mother didn't embezzle. I was in junior high.
See, we've torn apart his church, and now you're going after his mom, Scotty.
So I was homeschooled through high school.
Gotcha.
Up until 8th grade, I went to Catholic school about an hour north of here. I'm not going to tell you where it is. You can probably guess.
To be honest, you're one of the few people I know that went to Catholic school that still identifies as a Catholic.
Yeah,
that's
I haven't missed a fact. I haven't missed a Sunday in 20 years.
Wow.
I can't walk away from it. That's something that I have inside me. I was raised the right way. Something I feel committed to. That's something I can't shake it. I've got a rosary in my car right now. It's my faith, and I love it. I'm true to it, or at least try to be. Now,
that's good.
Disclaimer:
That's good.
I'm an awful Catholic. Right. I've done bad things. I've done horrible things. I'm a sinner. But I am. Yeah, exactly.
We welcome sinners on this show.
Thank you.
It's all we can get.
It
broke.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Yeah. A snake in India gave bystanders a surprise when it regurgitated its last meal. The snake had swallowed another snake and then proceeded to force the entire thing
I knew
back
he was
out.
a spitter.
Yeah. The unidentified person who filmed the encounter told Newsflare he found the snake outside his home in Kannur, Kerala.
Kannur?
Kannur, Kerala.
What kind of Kannur you got there?
That's a Kerala Kannur. Yeah, hop in, grab one of them oars, take her with you. Filmed the snake outside his home over the weekend and thought it was dead. He poked it to be sure, because that's the first thing you do with anything. Any animal you assume is dead, you poke it.
Of course.
And that's when the snake revealed it was still alive. The reptile was just likely digesting, which can take a snake several days. During that time, they often don't move much. However, a little stress, such as an encounter with a predator or maybe a human with a stick and a camera, can trigger a reflexive puke session. So, yeah, snakes eating other snakes.
All right.
It's nature.
That's strange.
That was not an exciting story, but that's okay. We can get through this.
Yeah.
We can get through this. We can't get through this. Let's move on.
A little 3 seconds.
Yeah. So episode 2 of Deadliest Warrior.
Yes. With Hurricane Florence pummeling the eastern seaboard, reporters are shouting outdoors, or shooting outdoors in storm. Or
they're shouting outdoors.
That's a little windy.
Yeah.
Reporters are shooting outdoors in storm-drenched areas to show viewers at home just how serious the storm is and how stupid they are. As a result, the Weather Channel reporter Mike Seidel is making a big splash, but probably not in the way he'd like. A video of a live segment of him in Wilmington, North Carolina shows him bracing his feet on where he's standing, presumably so he won't be blown over during the segment. There's just one problem. While Seidel looked as if he needed to guard against the wind and the rain, two people walked behind him as though nothing was wrong and ruined the appearance of dire conditions.
Yeah.
The idea is not to do that during a live broadcast.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's
fake
always
news.
There's fake news.
Yeah.
There's always an idiot looking
That's
to
funny,
ruin a
though.
live broadcast. But yeah,
It's like I've got friends in North Carolina, and I saw that video at first. I was like, "Oh, I wonder if they're okay." Then I saw the rest of it, and I was like, "Oh, they're fine."
Yep,
it's fine.
It's nothing. Yeah. Okay, we got one more story to get through.
All right.
I really wanted to get to this one.
Let's do it.
I really wanted to get to this story. There's a spider.
There is a
crawling
spider
across
crawling
now.
on there.
Along came
For the sake of radio,
read
it's
this
huge.
news story. Yes, it's
a giant spider.
It's huge. It's huge. Here, go in the soundboard and
That's
electrocute.
Big enough that we should call David Arquette.
Yes.
That's a really specific reference.
That's I'm not arachnophobic.
Eight-legged freak.
No.
Yeah.
That was Jeff Daniels. That was not.
That's right.
David Arquette was Eight-Legged Freaks.
Yeah.
Scarlett Johansson was in that movie too.
Yeah, I barely remember that one. That's Spider movie.
It was okay.
I didn't even watch Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was awesome.
Spider-Man's better.
A small Missouri town. Yeah. A small Missouri town has a new newspaper called the Uranus Examiner.
Yes.
Okay.
KYTV, of course. You can't make this stuff up. KYTV reports the newspaper's launch was announced Wednesday, just days after Gatehouse Media said it was shuttering Pulaski County's local paper, the Daily Guide. The new publication's editor, Natalie Sanders, led the Daily Guide before leaving in June to start what she calls a, quote, fun paper that will include local news and promote the tourist town of Uranus, which is pronounced the way any self-respecting class clown would say it. Uranus sits along historic Route 66 and is known for quirky attractions, including a fudge shop and the world's largest belt buckle. Now, I'm going to say this guy's name after this statement. The mayor of nearby Waynesville, where the Daily Guide was based, says she thinks the innuendo surrounding the new publication's name will, quote, bring public ridicule. The mayor of nearby Waynesville's name is Luge Hardman. See why I saved that name for last? Come on now. Uranus Examiner at
They
KYTV
did that on
and
purpose.
Luge Hardman.
You know
And
they
a
did that
fudge
on
shop.
purpose.
I want to try some of Uranus fudge.
I want to drive all up in Uranus.
Yep, I want to drive all the way to Uranus.
Yeah.
Try
All the
some
way
of their
through
fudge.
You remember earlier when you were saying, at least it's not a poop joke?
Yeah.
Well, here we are.
Here we are.
There you go, Don.
This is a Uranus joke.
Yep.
It's significantly classier.
Exactly,
Yes, you're right.
Exactly. Yeah,
Everybody that leaves
yeah.
gets pink eye.
Yeah. You always make it about Uranus. That's
Of course. It's always about Uranus.
all right.
That gives a new name to going to Browntown, right?
Got to go to Brownsville to get it. That's a callback.
Serious.
That's from
That
like
was in
3
Texas,
months ago.
right?
That was a callback from 3 months ago, Scotty. Yep, long-time listeners will get it. Yep. And everybody else will say, what the hell are they talking about? Listen to the podcast. You can find it.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all the news stories that we're going to mess with. Now, I know we got some shows to promote. For one, the Hope Flood, who was on the show earlier, is going to be at Wiley's this weekend, along with Nate Washington and Ray Jackson and the Comics Rock Tour, so be sure to go out and see them. Go to Wiley'sComedy.com, pick up tickets, and go. That's how you do it.
That's
you
how
go,
you do it.
you have some food, you drink some drinks, you laugh.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else got laughs coming up?
Yeah, I run a show in Cincinnati and Milford at By Golly's, 714 Lila Avenue. It's $5 at the door. Next show is October 12th. It starts at 8:30 p.m. Jonathan Craig is headlining from Dayton.
Awesome.
He's really, really funny. It's going to be a great time. I've got a good friend of mine I reconnected with recently. She's coming down to do a set. She's from Fort Wayne. That's Julie Heckman. Got Kathika Raturi, also from Cincinnati, who's really, really funny, and she'll be on the show. It's going to be a really good night. If laughs don't interest you, domestic buckets are only $10.
I thought you were going to say domestic
violence.
violence.
If laughs don't interest you, domestic violence free.
Free. Yeah. No, they don't go to By Golly's for that. They go to the Lifetime Movie Network or the NFL.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jack Wright, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
It's
Thanks
been
for
a
having
pleasure,
me.
sir. Scotty, always wonderful.
Man,
I'm glad you
always
came
fun.
in to sweat with us today.
Yeah,
and
thanks, sir. Much appreciated.
good luck with the puppies. I hope everything works out well.
Hopefully next week when I visit with you, I'll have an update.
Yes, because you'll be back next week at 7.
Yes.
Awesome.
Cool.
Be sure to tune in next week. Jess Cordry is going to come in and probably snort some ashes. And we'll have a good show then, too. And we might actually be in the on-air studio doing this show live.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be a switch?
Well,
yeah. I'll have to get you back on, Jack, sometime when we're a real radio show again. When soccer isn't happening.
Yeah.
Soccer's never happening. All right. On that note, tune in next week. Thanks for sticking it out with us in this 3 sweaty men in the basement. Hot pockets. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week. Thanks for listening to the Life Radio Show podcast. Check us out on the Eventide Entertainment Podcast Network or wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember, if you want to listen live, we're on Tuesdays from 7 to 9 p.m. on WWSU 106.9 FM with a repeat broadcast on Wednesdays from noon to 2, or you can always stream the show live at wwsu1069.org. If you have suggestions or comments, feel free to email thelife1069@gmail.com. It's nature.